Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Next Level Women Show. Today we're going to be talking about the five mindset traps keeping you below $10,000 every single month. And today I'm really excited about today's content because this is something that's been on my mind for a while. And so I decided to bump up this episode to say now is the time for people to hear about these five mindset traps that I see holding so many people back. And before we dive in, I just have to share something incredible with you. So today is Wednesday, the 26th of August of 2026, and it's actually 4 a.m. Right, and I woke up early to record this episode because I am just super duper pumped from what happened yesterday. So if you were on the call yesterday, maybe you weren't on the call, was many incredible things happen in our next level women networking event. um, when was the last time you cried happy tears? We got to celebrate a woman as she was crying happy tears because of the amazing breakthroughs she's having in her business. She just signed a $10 million contract, and it was so big for her that she couldn't wait to come into the community to share it with us. Not only that, that $10 million contract is going to feed 150 families because they're going to be employing 150 people in the community. And I think the weight of the reality of what this abundance means in her business just began to land even on the call. And she was really crying and apologizing. And I told her last night, do not apologize. When was the last time you cried happy tears, right? Celebrate these happy tears. Allow them roll down your eyes. So that was such a powerful moment last night. Also, we had other celebrations as well. Gianna, who's been in our community since March, signed another new client from somebody she met in our community, and that was huge for her because that was a contract she's been working on for a while. Mila Apostolic. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I do apologize, Mila, but she's an exceptional menopause coach. She's doing great things on LinkedIn. Go check her out. And she celebrated yesterday that she signed two new clients just from people watching her content on social media. She posted on social media, and two people reached out and became clients. So many amazing things we're celebrating in our community, and my heart is so full of joy. The call was supposed to end at 8 yesterday. We went on until 9 p.m. because it was such an amazing environment and just a great space to share with women. If you're building your business and you want to be in community with other women, you definitely need to check out the Next Level Women community. I'm going to put the link in the show notes. Come build your business in a safe, supportive way. I'm so excited. You can see I cannot stop smiling because I am just so grateful for all of the abundance we are celebrating in the community. Also, on Tuesday, I hosted a workshop with my friend Nofisa Caseman. Hi, Nofisa, if you're watching this. It was incredible. The feedback we got from people, the aha moments. In fact, one lady sent me an email and I was in tears because she said that replay completely changed her life. And so I'm just so grateful. So, what are these five mindset traps keeping you below $10,000 every month? The reason $10,000 is such an important figure is because for many women, and I think maybe you included, that $10,000 per month, getting your business to $10,000 per month, like I feel like that's when a light switch goes off in our minds. When we start earning consistent 10K every month in our business, feels like that's when we know we have a profitable business, like we know we have a business that can in some way sustain our family as we keep growing. Okay, so if your goal is to hit $10,000 every single month in a predictable, repeatable way, this episode is for you. And so the first mindset trap is that nobody will pay me that much. This is one mindset trap I see holding so many women back. And I do think that this is a belief problem. This is fundamentally a value and pricing belief, right? The woman may already know she could read 10K with 5 clients if she was charging 2K, for example. So when we think the thought, nobody's going to pay me that much, the question then becomes, really? Is that a fact? Is that a fact that nobody will pay you that much? Because there is evidence in the world of people with 10K offers, even 30K offers, who are consistently signing clients. So I want you to start challenging that mindset trap that tells you nobody will pay you that much. I just told you about the lady in our community who signed a $10 million contract. And so I think it goes a very long way to prove that if you do the inner work to build your belief that your offer is worth a certain amount, you're going to create that amount. I remember when I first started my business, my first offer was 2005. And I'm like, who's going to pay me 2005? And here's the irony. In our 9 to 5 jobs, we get to earn a certain amount, right? So let's say in your 9 to 5 job, you were earning, I don't know, 200K per year. And then somehow you start your home business, and then it becomes very difficult for your brain to believe that you can create that much value in the world. And so one of the first things I do with my clients is to help them uncover the beliefs that are holding them back. And one of the top beliefs is nobody will pay me that much. So my question is, are they paying you, or they're paying for the transformation you'd offer? And so you need to do the work to dissociate your personal worth and value. And by the way, you are absolutely invaluable. You cannot quantify how valuable you are. But somehow, as business owners, especially as female business owners, we tend to tie our personal worth with our business offer, our business worth. And so I want you to dissociate that. And when your mind tells you nobody will pay me that much, the question is, they are paying you for the transformation. Is that right or not? Yes, they are paying you for the transformation. And don't get me wrong, your personality has a lot to do with it, because people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So your personality is part of the equation. But the transformation your clients are getting is what they are ultimately paying for. So if you are not 100% convicted about your offer, it's going to keep you stuck below $10,000 per month. The point where you become absolutely convicted about your offer instead of conflicted, that's when you start getting results, because that absolute 100 belief, actually unshakable belief in yourself and in your offer, is what will start attracting clients. So that's mindset trap number one. Mindset trap number two is that I do not know enough to charge that much. This is a huge mindset trap. I don't know enough to charge that much, because people do not pay necessarily for your knowledge. They pay for your transformation, the transformation you give them, right? So I hear many people say, oh my gosh, who am I to charge that much? Or I need another certification. I need another experience. I need to learn more first. All right. I need to go back for more training. And that thought loop and thought pattern is what's keeping you stuck. You probably already know too much. You probably already know too much. I was in another networking call I was co-hosting for my lovely friend Sandy Ozine. And on that call, somebody asked, and she said that her thought is that nobody will pay her that much because she doesn't know enough. So she said she has this imposter syndrome that she doesn't know enough. So then I asked her, have you heard of something called ChatGPT? She said, yes. I said, ChatGPT has all the knowledge. Right now, we are living in a society where there is information overload. So knowledge in alone and waiting for you to have all the knowledge is actually costing you so much money every month. And so I said to her, how about you tell your brain, yes, I don't know enough. I'm going to use ChatGPT for all the knowledge, but then I'm going to show up with my personality, with the way I love people, and with all of my soft qualities. And so it removes that pressure from her brain because her brain is telling her she needs to keep learning, right? Keep learning, buying courses, listening to podcasts. And that's holding her back from actually going to sign clients to take her business to the next level. So I want to challenge you today, my friend, that you already know enough. What people buy is transformation. Are you able to take people from point A to point B? That's what people are paying for. Okay. So stop allowing your brain or your mind trick you into believing that you need to study more, you need to go back to school, you need to learn more. Okay. And don't get me wrong, education has its place, but I am talking about in instances where we use education as our excuse, as our obstacle. So that's mindset trap number two. Mindset trap number three is the economy is bad, so people aren't spending. This is what I hear all the time from the women who come on my coffee chats. Now, is that a fact? Is it a fact that the economy is bad? No. You are choosing to believe that the economy is bad. How do I know the economy is bad? That phrase is not a fact. I'll tell you why. Somebody just signed a $10 million contract. That's why, right? So I want you to check your environment, the people you're allowing yourself to be in contact with, because the things you expose yourself to is in a large way driving the thoughts you're choosing to think. So if you decide today, I'm going to start surrounding myself with women who are doing great things, with women who are choosing to see positive things in life and who are choosing to create better results for themselves, right? So if you say the economy is bad, yes, that's true because you're choosing to believe that. That's an optional thought. And a couple of episodes ago, I gave you an example of what we mean by thoughts and facts, right? So a fact is something that can be proven in a court of law. So if the inflation rate is 3.2%, for example, that figure is a fact, right? Inflation rate for the month of July 2026 is 3.2%, for example. I'm just making this up because I have no clue what the inflation rate. I do not care to know, right? So let's say that's the figure, then that's a fact. But you are choosing to believe that that fact means the economy is bad. But guess what? The woman who just celebrated a $10 million contract yesterday in our community, to her, the economy is great. Okay? And here's the thing, when you choose to think a certain way, your reality is going to match that thought. So that's why I said thoughts are optional. And the best thing you can do for yourself is to choose your thoughts intentionally. My coach used to say, it's all made up anyways. So you might as well choose to believe thoughts that serve you. Right? So if everything in the world is all made up, why are you choosing to believe the economy is bad? Now, when you believe the economy is bad, how does that make you feel? Well, it makes you discouraged. It makes you dejected. And when you feel discouraged and dejected, what actions or inactions do you take? Well, you binge Netflix, you eat junk food to make you feel better. And when you sit down binging Netflix and eating junk food, what results do you create? Well, no money in your business. That's what you create. And so, because you chose to believe the economy is bad, that's the result you create. Like you actually prove yourself right that the economy is bad. But if you chose differently After listening to this episode, if you say, oh my gosh, Joy Rowland just told me that somebody chose to believe differently and has just signed a $10 million contract, and then you're like, then this is possible for me. Then I can build a successful business. And then when you choose to believe that, what feeling does it create in your body? Well, it creates the feeling of optimism, of positive expectation. And when you feel those feelings, what actions do you take? Well, when you're excited about your business, you go, you do a LinkedIn Live or an Instagram Live, you host a workshop. And when you do all of those things, what results do you create? Well, you sign clients. So you see how just the thought about the same circumstance, which is the inflation rate equals 3.2%. One person chooses to believe the economy is bad. Some other person chooses to believe the economy is great. They create absolutely different results. So I want you to see how that mindset trap is keeping you below $10,000 every single month. Okay, mindset trap number 4. I need a bigger audience before I can make $10,000 months. No, you do not. You do not. In fact, at this point, I think I have less than 1,500 followers on Instagram. And so I want you to know that the number of followers you have has no bearing in how much you can create in your business. In fact, I always say, do your business math. And what that means is, I want you to find out how many people you need to reach your income goals. So let's say you want to start creating $10,000 every month in your business. My question to you is this. First, how much is your offer? So let's say your offer is $5,000. If your offer is $5,000, guess what? You only need 2 clients per month to hit your income goals. Okay, so if you need 2 clients per month to hit your income goals, my next question is, how many people do you need to see your offer? And then what's your conversion rate? Okay, so number of people who see your offer multiplied by your conversion rate will tell you how many clients you sign per month. And one of the strategies I teach and I use in my business is workshops. I just told you about the workshop I co-hosted with Nofisa. You can use workshops to start signing clients on a consistent basis. In fact, that's my signature framework. Okay. So the way I teach it is this. You're going to start keeping track of your numbers because we want to know how many people need to attend your workshop in order to hit your numbers. So starting with registration, how many people need to register? Because the percentage of people that need to register is compared to the number of people who actually show up. Okay, so industry standard is about 15%. 10 to 15% of people who register for a workshop will actually show up. So once you start tracking those numbers, then you start to say, okay, after hosting my workshop and those people show up, how many of those people actually become clients? So that's where we start to track those conversion rates. And as you track your numbers, you're going to be able to create predictable, repeatable income in your business. So that's one of the keywords I suggest you build your 10K months. You do not need a bigger audience. You just need to find the people who are really, really interested in your offer. That's it. Okay. Mindset trap number 5, the final mindset trap is that I have to keep doing more to make more. Now, the reason this is a mindset trap is because many people have been conditioned to believe that they need to keep working hard to make money. If you want to make money in the world, you need to work harder and harder and harder. But here's something I'm going to tell you to debunk that myth. I want you to think about a multi-millionaire. Most of them work a lot less than most other people, right? So think about a top CEO who's earning $25 million per year, for example. That person many times has, I don't know, a 10-hour work week. right? Now, compare that to somebody who has two jobs trying to make ends meet. I remember working two jobs when I was at uni studying for my master's. I was working Max and Spencer's during the day, and then I was working as a security guard at night. I was working very hard. In fact, all of the waking hours that God sent to mankind, I was working those hours as long as I was awake. And I was making at most, I don't know, £6 an hour for those jobs, £6 per hour. So I was working hard, but I wasn't making as much as the company CEO, right? So I'm giving you these examples to understand that you do not necessarily need to work harder. In fact, in my experience, the more money I make, the less I work in my business. And it's so mind-boggling that when I'm making more money, I'm working less. How comes? So I want you to challenge that thought in your mind that tells you that if you create 10,000 months in your business, you're going to be working harder. Now, definitely systems has to be put in place, right? So it doesn't happen overnight. You have to invest in a team, invest in a system, invest in a platform to make sure that you are not putting more on your plate as your business grows. Okay, that's a systems driven business. Now, your $10,000 month will not happen by accident. It will happen because you have a repeatable system. And that is why I am hosting a free challenge. It's a 5-day challenge where I am going to help you build your entire 10K months workshop. So together, we're going to build a workshop that will help you get to consistent 10K months in your business. We're building everything from start to finish so that at the end of 5 days, you don't just have more information. You actually have a workshop completely built out that can get you to 10K months. I'm hosting this workshop starting September 7th. So, in about 2 weeks, September 7th all the way to September 11th, we're going to be meeting for just 1 hour every single day of that week, Monday to Friday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. It is completely free. I'm going to be helping you build your high converting workshop that will convert clients. And this is a no-brainer. In fact, this is the first time I am teaching and I'm helping people do this from start to finish. I'm going to put the link in the show notes, or if you go to my link in bio on any of the platforms, you're going to see that link to sign up. And if your business is not at 10K months yet, you need to attend. You like nothing else is going to get in your way, okay? Because there are women in our community currently creating repeatable 10K months in their business, and you can be one of them. So, like I said, it's going to happen from September 7th to September 11th. 12 noon to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have a private community where we're going to do the work every single day so that by Friday, after 5 days, you have your full workshop completely built out. Now, I absolutely love all of the comments you've been sending my way on Instagram. I love reading your comments. Thank you, every single one of you who have been so gracious with your comments and how this podcast has helped you shift your business. If you want to find out more about the Next Level Women membership, I'm also going to add that in the show notes because this is your time to shine. If you've been listening to this episode and watching us on YouTube for any length of time, I invite you to please go leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts. This is how this podcast is going to get to more women so we can help more women enter their next level. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I look forward to seeing you same time next week. Bye for now.